to another Halloween story. Yeah, what's happening, you guys? It's your pal, Exotic Mega Absol Grim, and once again, welcome to a new Halloween story, or or maybe a Halloween story, since this one right here does not isn't like accurately isn't accurately a Halloween story, but since that's from the Halloween story section, I have no, I have no, I didn't think twice. I didn't think twice, but just to decide to read the story to you guys. So, so this is the story I'm gonna be reading to you guys. And as you can see here by the title, it says "Shadows in the Mirror," and all it says in the description for the shadows in the mirror is about a girl who moves into a new house and begins to see things out of the corner of her eye. Well, well, they're sure to be interesting. Let's see what the story has in store for us today. And I don't have anything to say, but nonetheless, that I'll be copy and pasting the link of the website ScaryForKids in the description below, so that you guys can check it out when you guys have the time. But here we go. So yeah, without further ado, guys, let's begin. So sit back, relax, and let me get myself logged on as I read the story, Shadows in the Mirror. All you can do is brace yourselves. There was once a woman who lived by herself in a quaint house in the country. Her husband had passed away about 5 years back, and she was planning on moving on. on moving on. I mean, and she was planning to moving soon. One day, while packing up some of her husband's things, she noticed that the temperatures dropped really low. She walked down the hall to check the thermostat, but when she got there, it showed no difference in temperature. She thought about it, but figured that it must be broken. She decided that she would call someone the next day to fix it. When she passed the mirror on the wall on her way back, she thought she saw a movement of shadows in the reflection. Then the temperature suddenly returned to normal, and when she looked back at the mirror, nothing was there. She shrugged and went back to packing. A couple of days later, the temperature dropped again. The woman went to the thermostat, and again it showed no change. She remembered that she had forgotten to call someone to repair it. She promised herself that she would call her. She would call after her show on TV that she had been watching. When she passed the mirror, she again saw the movement of shadows. She stopped. In the reflection, she saw a shadow, nothing but a shadow, slightly translucent but visible. The shape was indescribable. Its shape changes. Its shape, I mean, the shape was indescribable. It changed shape like water flowing. About the size of a tall person. It stepped out from the wall behind the woman, but when she turned around to face it, there was nothing there. Now she was scared. She began to tremble. Slowly she turned back to the mirror. The figure was still there, and closer. She screamed out, "Help!" But no one came. Closer and closer it came. A few weeks later, a friend of the woman stopped by to say hello. She knocked and knocked, but there was no answer. The next day, a police officer came out to investigate, but he found nothing but a few empty boxes and the TV on. It was put down as an unsolved case. The house was soon cleaned out and put out on the market for sale. For many years, the house was empty. What with all of this, for many years, the house was empty. What with all with what with all of the stories going around about it. But one day, a small family consisting of a mother, father, and daughter moved from the city into the house. All all was well until one day the temperature dropped in the house. You know, you know. I've heard this one video from TikTok about science about to indicate science that a ghost is in your house. It's like so one of the things that you can indicate that a ghost is in your house is when you get a sudden temperature change. Like let's say that you're just chilling in your bed. Let's say you're just chilling in your living room, but then suddenly the temperature change from being warm to cold, and you don't know what's happening until, and that's when it shows signs, and that's when a sign shows that a ghost is in your house. Yeah, that's one of the signs that you can indicate that an evil that a that the presence of a ghost is in your house. Anyways, the daughter went to her parents and asked them what happened. They say they didn't know, and they went to the thermostat to see. It showed no change in temperature. They decided to call someone. The daughter went back to playing with her dolls in her room. Had she looked up into her mirror, she would have seen a shadow peeking from behind the reflection of her bed. But just then, her parents came in to tell her that someone was coming the next day to fix the thermostat and that she'll have to deal with it for a while. But when they finished saying this, the temperature went back to normal. The parents said, "Never mind." A few weeks later, the temperature dropped again. The girl was brushing her hair at the time in front of her mirror. She saw the shadow behind the reflection as it started to creep towards her. She screamed. Her parents came in asking what happened. She told them, but they didn't believe her. She tried to make them believe her, but it was of no use. They took her to a psychologist to get her help. When she came home to believe it was all a figment of her imagination, she probably would have kept believing that, except that about a year later, the temperature dropped once again. The girl was by herself because her parents had gone to the theater and left her alone since she was 13 years old. She was experimenting with makeup at the time in front of her mother's mirror. She stared in terror as that thing crept out from behind the bed. She trembled but didn't call out. She knew no one would come. And now, as it had done before, the thing came closer and closer, closer and closer. When the girls' parents came home, they found the house empty. Their daughter was nowhere to be found. The police reports said another unsolved mystery. The house still stands to this day, and it's still on the market if you want to buy it. It's a bargain. Oh no. This is this is sad and scary at the same time. With the disappearance of the original owner of the house, yeah, the woman whose husband died, yes, suffered the fate by disappearing when she was looking at the terrible as the when she was looking at the shadow in the mirror. As she was watching it getting closer and closer, it snatched her, like this, which she's gone from existence, and the same fate happened to the daughter. Yeah, unfortunately, the daughter suffered the same fate as the original owner by looking at the horror shadow again creeping up on her, again walking, getting closer and closer to the girl, and snatched her. That's like tragic and scary at the same time. And okay, disregard what you said, disregard what you guys just saw. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna. And yeah, I'm gonna have to end the video here. Yeah, this was the story Shadow in the Mirror, or Shadows in the Mirror. Yeah. So this was the story Shadows in the Mirror. If you guys enjoyed the video, the story, you guys already know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what other Halloween stories you want me to read. Well, actually, it's only a week until the end of Halloween. And as I said before, I promised you guys that I'll try to make like the best last Halloween story of 2025. It's yeah, it's crazy that it's up that Halloween is about to end in a week. I mean, it feels like that October started like yesterday. It was yesterday since feels like that October started yesterday. But what can I say? Time flies faster. But nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end. Until next time, I'll catch you up. Go. I'm gonna be gone out of the shadows, and reappear you guys in the next Halloween story. Peace.